It's Bobbbaaaay, and we back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Purpose in the Youth podcast with your favorite bearded man, the one, the only Bobbbaaaay. Today on the show, we got my man, Nainoa Langer. What's going on?
What's up, fam?
Dude, fresh off the plane from India.
Yeah.
Like literally, 5 hours ago?
Yeah.
6 hours ago?
4 or 5 hours ago, yeah.
Yo, this has got to be like one of the craziest type podcasts I've ever done. Just having somebody get off the flight, LAX, coming from India, quick stop in LA for less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then you're going to keep
And
it
then I'm
moving.
bouncing, yeah.
Where are you flying to next?
Hawaii. Back home
back
for a
home,
few days.
Back home.
And then South Africa for about a week.
Damn.
I got a bunch
man.
of stuff lined up this month, but yeah, hopefully
So it's a good traveling then. It's good to be
Yeah,
traveling this
yeah,
much
yeah.
because there's purpose to it. You have
Oh, yeah.
business, you have projects you're working
Yeah.
on. This isn't like, oh, we're just flying around for the hell of it. Like
not
I got shit to do.
Yeah, we're working.
That's super dope. For people that are listening and might not know who you are, who is Nainoa Langer today and how young is he?
I'm 24 years young.
Yes.
Saw that from all
My
the
man.
Purpose in the
Some,
Youth.
yeah, some people,
of course.
they hit the old. I'm like, no.
No.
Youth, young. 24. All right. So,
I'm
we got
24.
we got the same age.
Born and raised in Hawaii,
Amazing.
small island. Moved out to New York about a year and a half ago.
Yep.
And kind of just doing my thing, traveling the world and making videos. That's my thing right now.
What a world to be living in 2018. Traveling the world and making videos.
2018, man. It's like this stuff was not heard of, back in 20 years ago.
I was literally just talking to my parents about this before you came here, and it's like, it is amazing the world we live in today because it's on us. It really is on us to create these opportunities where we're working for people or we're traveling around the world and we're making a living doing it. We have the control now.
Yeah.
Whereas 10 years ago, you had to sneak your way into a company or you had to somehow get people to pay you massive amounts of money that you can't nowadays.
man.
Like you're doing this on your own. Like you started this on your own and now you're doing it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about growing up in Hawaii. Is it the perfect world? Because outside looking in, I'm like, damn, you grew up in Hawaii. Life's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, if I had to describe it, I mean, I grew up on Molokai, which is very, very small island. It's one of the lesser known ones.
Okay. There's 8. Is there 8 islands?
This is bad, man. I think there might be 9. Sorry, I'm kind of
That's cool.
doing Hawaii bad.
Yeah,
but,
you're good. You're good.
Molokai is it's one of the smaller islands. It's only got 7,000 people on it.
7,000.
7,000 the entire island.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I grew up very just, small town vibes, everything.
Yeah.
It was very much like a bubble for me. And it was kind of like I never thought I'd actually leave it.
That island,
but I feel,
is
the
that
whole
island fever
island
like
vibe.
a real, it's a real thing?
Dude, 100%. So a lot of really good friends and people that I still know and love, like they're still there kind of just living island life. And it's crazy. I'm only 24, but everyone's kind of like started their own family there. And it's definitely... It's a different way of life for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that also played a lot of role in me wanting to get out, I guess. But growing up was just what you would think it would be, going to the beach and
Every day.
Yeah, pretty much. It was paradise, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine it's one thing to grow up there, and then when you finally get the chance to step outside and go to other places around the world, like you travel as much as you travel, then you're starting to realize like, I appreciate home. I love the weather. I love everything about it, but there's so much to see. Yeah. And you're coming back to people that are staying there. That's where they're going to be for the rest of their lives, which is cool. But for you, it's like, I just got done traveling across the globe.
It's crazy to everyone that's back home seeing what I'm doing right now. And it's like, I'm part of the smallest percent that's actually done that from like where I'm from. Yeah. And, but honestly, coming off the plane, like back home is honestly the best feeling.
Your home is always your home.
It's always, man. Yeah.
Your home is always your home. And now this is a straight, direct, growing up in Hawaii question. Do they teach you what the shaka is at a young age? I'm so curious. Like, what is the story behind the shaka sign?
Dude, growing up, shaka is just, it's everything. Yeah. And you're never actually told like where it's from or like the origin of anything.
You're like, this is what you're gonna do. No.
Yeah, straight up. It's like, this is like the peace sign or whatever. Just like in Hawaii, it's the shakas. You just throw it everywhere. But I think later on in life, it was kind of like learned throughout, I guess, I don't even remember how I learned the origin, but it's like, it might've been on the news or something where it's like, origin of the shaka was a guy who got 3 of his fingers cut off, and so every time he'd wave, it'd just be like this.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not entirely sure how accurate that is, but it's like
that's one of those stories that
there.
like a million people make up.
Yeah, straight up.
It's just all right. That's the story. Nope, I heard this story. I heard this story.
Yeah.
We'll just go with this guy.
I think
that kind of makes sense. Lose
for
3
sure.
fingers and that's how it goes.
Yeah,
and it's about the extension too. That's
it's,
how people know if it's like if you're a true Hawaiian. Is that true? Like the extension.
Oh,
of
it's
it?
you just throw it out. Some
just
people
throw it
even
out?
just throw it loose, like it's like that. I don't really know. I've never really had distinction between it, but it works.
It is so natural to use.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
just like, yo, this is how it goes.
Yeah.
Man, okay. That's just so cool to me,
Yeah.
man. Whenever I see that, like I'm like, yo, that's gotta be so dope to be.
Have you heard of pigeon too? Like it's like the slang out in Hawaii.
No.
It's I can't even do it anymore. But I used to grow up speaking just for people that might know
pigeon
about
talk?
Hawaii. Yeah, pigeon. It's like
Mumblish or
it's like Hawaii's slang. It's actually technically known as a language in Hawaii, but they have their own like just slang words for everything Hawaii, I guess.
interesting.
Like have you heard the word like decline or like
I'm so unfamiliar.
you're East Coast, that's why, right?
Yeah, East Coast. You're talking. I'm really far away.
Yeah,
I mean, now that I'm in LA, I've met a couple people from Hawaii.
Yeah.
But not.
Dude, yeah, no, I feel you. Never mind. We'll scratch that. But I feel like you're East Coast and West Coast now.
Yeah.
I started, I guess, West Coast Hawaii.
Yeah.
Not on the East Coast.
Yeah. Oh, so
To
you're
New York. So
yeah.
I get the same.
You're now in
exact,
the mix of it all.
hearing everyone talking, in that Brooklyn accent. And,
Yeah. Oh, so it's really throwing you off. Then.
Yeah, a little bit.
Is there a certain island in Hawaii that only true Hawaiians are allowed to go to? Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Well, half true, I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong here, but Niihau, which is it's actually owned by I think a fully Hawaiian family.
Okay.
But nobody's actually allowed onto the island without permission from that family.
Oh, so you have to get invited.
So you have to be invited or have some kind of background there.
So you grew up at least seeing this island, knowing like, that's like a no-fly zone. Like I can't go there at all.
Pretty much.
That's so interesting to me.
And even growing up on my island, like I never really went out to other islands much either.
because that was where that's where you needed to be.
Everything was there.
7,000 people.
Yeah, man. My graduating class had 50 kids in it.
50.
Yeah.
So you're talking what, maybe 200 people in the high school
in
total?
high school for the entire island.
And these 50 people that you graduated with, I would imagine you pretty much grew up with the entire way,
being
like
from
through.
preschool all the way up to like senior year. Yeah.
Yo, I can't even imagine. I mean, I grew up in a small town,
Yeah.
but like the fact of literally being with essentially that same group of 50 people through the entire way,
Yeah.
that is, oh man.
It's in the moment you don't really realize it, but then now that I'm out of it, looking in, it's like wow.
Yeah, because that's all you know at the
Yeah,
time. Like
yeah,
this
yeah.
is like life. Everybody grows up in Hawaii with the sun shining
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the time, and
Yeah,
right
wasn't
by
that
the
bad of a
beach.
place?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not a bad of a place, dude. Definitely not a bad. What was a lesson that you learned as a child that you've always carried with you?
Well, I think honestly, growing up in such a small place, everyone knows everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So anything you did was kind of seen by everyone. Respect was was everything back home. So it's like I kind of carry that everywhere I go, where it's, you give respect and you get respect, and it's not the other way around. It's like, unless you're disrespecting me first or something, I'll always give respect to everyone, no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah.
When you're on a small island like that, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
if you screw somebody, that's gonna screw somebody else.
Yeah, it comes back. And I fully believe in, just everything coming full circle. So you get what you give and give what you get.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so there are some
There's
perks
some-
of growing up
yeah.
in a small town like that, because everybody's gonna know everything that you do versus now being in New York City, nobody knows who you are. You know what I mean?
And that was
Nobody
like
knows.
the interesting thing about like being out in the world and everything is like you all of a sudden everyone knows you and now you're anonymous. And I actually really liked that like idea of everything. So it's like
of being anonymous.
being anonymous, yeah. I mean,
nobody's breathing down your neck.
yes, exactly. So like I could be walking down the street and not run into someone that I know and I can kind of just do my thing.
Yeah.
It's a different way. I mean, it's not that I love it, I guess, but
Yeah.
it's
a
I don't
different
know.
way of life.
Yeah,
You're
different
not gonna say you
experience.
don't love. Yeah, it's different experiences and
Yeah.
it has its own place. Obviously, your home is your home, like I said before, and like there's certain things about it that you are always gonna enjoy most. But I also like the idea of waking up, walking outside, and knowing that nobody really knows who I am, and I can just be
whatever you want.
Yeah, be whatever I want, do whatever I want.
That was another. I mean, like, and not in a bad way, but it was very much. People are always in other people's businesses, so it's kind of got this judgmental factor to it, and being free from that was just
amazing.
Yeah, freedom.
What was a challenge that you faced as a kid growing up?
Lots of challenges, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. If you want to narrow, is there any like kind of specifics?
No, I would just say anything that pops to your mind right now. Is there anything that you had to essentially overcome that has also kind of stayed with you?
Yeah. Well, I would say that I was never really exposed to, I guess, like a bigger scale of having to interact with people, or like, it's like you already knew everyone on the island, so you never had to make new friends. You never really had to socialize in a good way. So I was always kind of like not a people person in a way. Not necessarily that's a challenge, but personally, that like for me, it's challenging trying to like break out of that. And
of course,
especially in the industry that I'm in now, it's like
you have to network,
and you gotta network, you gotta connect with people, and you gotta be personable. So yeah, I'm still kind of working on that challenge for myself, I guess.
I mean, it's not gonna be easy at first, right? When you're trying to break out of that, but I don't want to say you were sheltered as a kid, because that's not necessarily what it was, but to a sense it was. It was that bubble of this is all the people 100%. That I know. And how are you expected to go out and meet new people when there's nobody to meet? You have to go to the other island
and the thing is, like, and growing up, like, a lot of people are comfortable with that. So I grew up in a place where it's like everything's the way it is, that's the way it should stay, be comfortable and live your life. And I was like, that's really cool, but I guess what I found at an early age was that I wanted to experience more, or I guess like get uncomfortable in a way.
Was there a certain moment, or like what was that thing that made you want to kind of see
I think
more?
It wasn't really a moment. It was kind of just, I think throughout my entire like young life, just knowing that I wanted more, I guess, in a way. I'm not I can't pinpoint what it was that made me want that, but I always knew that I just wanted to do more.
Do you think it had anything to do with obviously having access to the internet and just watching videos online, or was it just always that something inside you said, I want more, I want more?
Yeah. I think the internet had a part to deal with it. Yeah. Maybe more towards like, high school days, back when everything was kind of picking up, social media was getting there. Yeah. But before that, I was like, damn, I want to be a professional like baseball player or something. Yeah. Like I played sports a lot growing up. Okay. So I was like,
baseball. What else?
I played basketball. Volleyball was big in my life too.
Okay. You guys can play on the beach, right?
Yeah, volleyball, man. Yeah, of course.
Of course.
And so like, growing up with that sports background, I was like, I guess I had a work ethic, and I wanted to, improve like my athletic ability or whatever. And then I always had that dream of like, I'll make it big playing sports someday or something. And once that got out the window, I was like, I'll make it big doing something else. But
high school, you realize like maybe I'm not gonna be in the NBA.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe this isn't actually gonna be an MLB career.
Totally. So the idea was like, I'd go through high school, I was playing sports. I was like, maybe I'll get picked up for college playing volleyball or something. That didn't happen.
Were you like torn up from it? Were you like so all in that I'm gonna be a college athlete, or
no, not really?
Just kind of like
it was kind of like I never really had. I honestly had zero direction. Kind of like through high school, like I had no clue what I wanted to do with my life. And so I found myself kind of like every time I was asked by teachers or something, it was like, "What do you want to do after high school?" It was like that looming question was, "Do I go to college, or do I, what am I gonna do?" And I was like, "Well, I'd like to play sports, then that might be my ticket in." Yeah. So that didn't happen. I was like, okay, well, I'll just do something else. And yeah, man, I seriously didn't really have much direction with what I wanted to do after high school. So I went to community college for like 3 semesters. Okay. Moved off that island for one. So I moved to Oahu. Yeah, which is like which is where like Waikiki is. Like the main city, Honolulu, is on Oahu.
And that's pretty big, couple million, 2-3 million.
I think the entire island's 1.5 million.
Okay, so that's a refresh button. Now you're really in a different world.
And so what's interesting is like that's yeah, coming from Molokai, that's huge.
Yeah.
But then now that I'm like in New York, it's like I look back,
was
that's
a
the
warm-up.
life. Yeah,
That was a
exactly.
warm-up.
It was like the halfway. But yeah, so I moved over for community college.
What was the name of the school?
Just Honolulu Community College.
Cool.
HCC.
HCC.
Yeah.
HCC. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the same community college where I'm from.
Oh, no
Hoyle
way.
Community College. So we got
Sick.
something. We got something.
Yeah.
So you went there for 3 semesters.
Yeah.
Tried it out. What were you?
I was studying welding.
Whoa.
Yeah. No. So that's
All
how,
over the place.
That's how. Yeah. How much of a like zero idea what I wanted to do. That's how much I didn't know. So I actually remember the moment that I like registered for welding classes. My friend was like, I was asking with him, or I mean, I was sitting down, asked him, I was like, you know, what's something that like, what's a profession that makes like a lot of money and like very easily? He's like, dude, welders make like a ton of money. Or like they make like $30 an hour. It's like, I'm done. Yeah. And that was my direction. And so I did that for 3 semesters. Pretty much once I moved out of the house, was on my own, you know, didn't have any support from my parents. I grew up very humbly.
How many, do you have any brothers and sisters?
Yeah. 2 older sisters.
2 older sisters.
Yeah.
Okay.
So family of 5.
Wow.
Yeah. Just very like grassroots. We didn't have much growing up, but we had enough.
And your parents worked on the island?
Yeah.
What do they do?
Yeah. So my mom is a secretary at a dental office.
Okay.
And my dad's he dabbled in construction like when I was young growing up. And it kind of slowed down for our island. So he went between jobs, kind of just bounced between everything. But yeah, nothing really, lived very humbly.
Yeah.
Like just very like getting by kind of thing.
Absolutely. So they wanted you to go out and figure it out.
Yeah. 100%. They were very supportive of that, but financially couldn't really do that.
That's fair.
Yeah. And so when I moved off to Oahu, I just kind of went to community college, worked at a fishing supply warehouse.
Love it.
Just like was just doing random stuff to put me through. And then actually I quit. Yeah, I dropped out of college just because literally I was like welding. Like, what am I doing here? Got offered a job to work at a hospital. Took the hospital job.
Because you were going to make some decent money.
Because I was going to be,
making decent money.
It was for like $20 an hour.
Okay.
You didn't need any kind of like entry requirements or anything. And so, yeah, I did that for 3 years.
3 years.
Working in a hospital, 9 to 5. Like it was a full salary kind of like job. And I think that's, I died inside, man. Like,
did you enjoy it at all?
I enjoyed the money. I enjoyed being able to like actually support myself for once.
Yeah.
Instead of
you
like
didn't have to ask your parents for anything. Your bills were paid on time. You had a little bit of money to at least treat yourself, go buy something.
Yeah.
But you didn't like it at all.
No, it was soul sucking for sure. Yeah.
What was so you said 3 years.
Yeah.
What was the moment when you said, "That's it"? Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I guarantee you still remember that day. But what was that moment like when you said, "Nope, not doing this no more"?
I think there were a few moments.
Okay. So it built up. I'll
start from the beginning. Yeah. So in maybe like the first year working at the hospital, I was like, I'm loving this. Like I actually can support myself. Like I can stop living off of top ramen and just noodles for every meal. And then about a year into that, I bought my first GoPro. And so that's when like social media was kind of like taking off.
You had no experience at all.
Zero.
A lot of people did that. They just bought the GoPro. It was like an easy people are doing backflips and everything with this.
And and that's what I was doing like when I wasn't at work was, going cliff jumping and hiking and doing all this stuff that I already was. And I was like, I'll just take a GoPro and kind of just
document it.
Mess around with it. And had fun. And so I did that for about a year, and that's what really kind of, I guess, put that idea in my head. Social media, Instagram, like YouTube was all, for me, I guess, it was what was getting popular was those GoPro clips. I don't know if you remember those days where like GoPro photos and videos were like really popular. Really popping off. Yeah, they just popped off. And
you graduated high school 2012 or 2011? Okay, 11. That was 2012. So when you're telling this story, I'm kind of picturing where I was in my life. So this is, I definitely remember these days. But
yeah, so I got really lucky. Like I was on top of that in the Hawaii, like I guess area. I was pretty much known as like that GoPro kid for like the year that I had that GoPro.
Because of the footage you were putting out.
We would do some fun stuff. Like we'd go cliff jumping, take it on like crazy hikes, and this was when like editing was getting into the big, it was getting really popular.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it just kind of, it grew, like the social media aspect of it grew, and people started to see what I was doing. And I never really had that, I guess, attention before. Yeah. And it's not that I did it because of the attention, but it kind of, that like woke up something in me that I always kind of knew was there, like the creativity and the passion side of it. Like I would take lunch breaks for like 3 hours, bail the hospital, and just go on a hike in between days or in between like shifts, come back 3 hours later and work my next hospital shift.
And that 3 hours was like a drug to you, so that it motivates you to keep going through the work.
Yeah. And so it pretty much was a drug, man. It was addicting. Cliff jumping was a big part of it too. So it's like you're up on the edge and just throwing it. And me and my friends would just kind of go out and do that kind of stuff.
So there was a couple of you said we a couple of times. There was a couple of like your homies that were into this too.
Yeah. One of the main my main friend, who's actually still doing videography the same way I am, his name's Taylor Fisher. He was the one who kind of like got me off of the cliffs and got me cliff jumping, taught me how to gainer.
Oh, you guys are wild boys. I saw some of the clips. I said, yo, these guys are out of their mind.
Yeah. So that was those were good times, and it was very simple. It was just like we were doing it for the fun of it, you know. It wasn't because, I mean, obviously we were kind of getting attention from it and it was helping, but we loved what we were doing.
You were doing it for a purpose. It wasn't like we're gonna start putting on videos, we're gonna blow up, and we're gonna find a way to make money doing this. We're just gonna put content. And I feel like the fact that you grew up in Hawaii, I'm not saying if you had grown up anywhere else in the world that this wouldn't have happened, but you got to look at it from the outside looking in. I'm seeing somebody that's cliff jumping in Hawaii with amazing sunsets probably every day, with amazing sunrises every day. There's so much to be captured there that kid in Iowa that's interested in filmmaking 100%. Sees that. I'm interested. I want to follow this guy. I don't want to follow the guy that's in Iowa doing stuff that I'm doing. I want to follow this guy who is putting out amazing content. And it makes you guys look like ballers because you're in Hawaii gainering off of these waterfalls.
You pretty much nailed it on the head. Yeah, we had Hawaii is such a good canvas. I mean, just
like LA.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we got growing up there, being able to capture all of that was definitely a blessing. And I kind of think if it weren't for that, I don't know, who knows where I would have been. Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So talk to me about how this happened. So you end up quitting the job.
Yeah.
So we talked about, you started making the videos along the way. You're bailing out for work for 3 hours, coming back. When did you finally say, I'm out, I'm quitting?
It was a Christmas present to myself. That was so my second year going in, around like the ending of my 3 years there, I think it wasn't, honestly, I'm trying to think, it wasn't too much of a moment again.
Because everything was building up.
Yeah, it built up. It was like kind of this like gnawing thing at me. And I guess that's the best way I could describe it. It was like, it literally hurt me inside.
Mm-hmm.
Was like showing up to work, this whole, doing something that I absolutely hated. And, having to feel like I had to escape from it. And that's exactly what it was. So I think over time, what really pushed me was kind of just like the ideas that I could do videography for a living. And I guess a lot of the big inspirations for that was like people like Rory Kramer, people that were already doing it and setting the path or paving the way. That really helped out a lot. And so I think it was just that gnawing feeling at me that was like, you're worth more than this. That there's more out there for you.
Yeah.
I think over that time was like the time where like I really wanted to build up traveling and like seeing this as, somewhere that could take me around the world. Yeah. Be able to make a living off of it. Yeah. And I was like, I'm more than willing to give up this, comfort of my job. But I do think that because it was comfortable, that kind of prolonged it, and that's probably why I stayed for as long as I did. Yeah. And I think, the real clicking point was I put in my 2 weeks right before Christmas on my and I think this was in 2016. Okay. And then it all just kind of like released. Like I remember walking into my boss's like my management room that day, and they were just like stunned. They didn't see it coming. And even now to this day, it's like I'm still friends with people there. Of course. But I hear it from them that they're like, it's been 2 years already and I'm off doing my thing. and they're still asking like, yo, is Nai still trying to make that video thing work? And it's like,
they're not paying attention.
Yeah,
they're not paying
attention. It's a dungeon. It was like it's a bubble itself.
Yeah,
there. And I feel like that's a good, like, I guess, metaphor for a lot of things that people might be stuck in, is if, you know, just having that comfort there, it very much can be a bubble if you know that you're pulled to something else.
Yeah.
You don't really see it until you kind of get out, and you have to get that outside perspective of it.
Yeah, and it's the hardest part is getting out.
Yes.
It is believing in yourself that you can actually do this when people around you are going to tell you not to do it because they don't have enough confidence to do it themselves. Yeah. And it's not until you're able to see Rory Kramer, who's out there doing it, that, wow, this guy's doing it. Maybe I can do it. Yeah. Which is amazing, because then you end up meeting this guy. Yeah. And then you end up getting him in some of your content. Yeah, yeah. And knowing now that what you just said was that you had seen him pave a way, I can only imagine what it must have been for you to meet him in person and to literally see the sunrise with him.
It was everything, man.
Like, that's a amazing moment. I can't even imagine.
That was I think that was like the start of when the avalanche started for me. Just like the opportunity started rolling. But yeah, getting to meet Rory was, it was a pivot point. That guy, for sure.
He's got power, because then you look at Jeremiah too. Jeremiah,
he's the same thing.
He was episode 71 of the podcast. Yeah. Same thing. DM'd him, reached out, and he was like paving a way too. Now you said the avalanche started to happen. Yeah. What was that avalanche?
So that was the opportunities for like being able to travel, getting hit up to do these gigs, whatever was shooting the Chainsmokers with Rory. And then I also, it was probably like a week or two after that where I got hit up to fly out to New York with Beautiful Destinations. Wow. Through Sam Colder, another big inspiration. So it was like, I went from, I went freelance after the hospital for maybe 6 months or so, just literally had nothing going. Okay. And I fell back onto this. Like, I didn't have any plan. And
so you were just making your own content? Were you just continuing
I was just kind of trying to do my thing, like continue to put out stuff that I liked and it was close to me. But yeah, I got hit up by Sam to go out to New York, did the whole Beautiful Destinations thing. So I went 0 to the world, over the course of a week.
So for people that don't know what Beautiful Destinations is, it's a massive platform that shares the stories of people, places, and activities around the world. Yeah. I looked today, their Instagram following is over 10 million. Yeah. It is a massive, massive platform that somebody like yourself, this is the dream for people to be working with. Yeah, yeah. So what was that opportunity that Sam hit you up about?
It was, he kind of just hit me up he needed some help because he was the only video guy doing stuff with ED. Wow. So he kind of just brought me up, tested me out, took me out of the country for the first time. Oh, yeah, and that's another. So
no big
Sorry,
deal.
I'm just kind of going all over the place here.
We're painting the picture right now.
No, so up until that point, I'd never left the country at all. Like, didn't even have a passport. When I went to New York, I spent about a week up there just kind of editing, chilling with the guys, meeting the team, hanging out, and putting in work. But I got hired for that position to do all this traveling and be a traveling videographer for the company when I hadn't left the country at all. I didn't even have a passport. And so they booked me on a trip for 10 days from when they hired me. So I needed to get my passport within that 1 week.
Oh, so you had to expedite
And so
that.
I had to, it was like, I didn't have any idea how to do that, or like I had zero clue how to get my passport. I think I remember getting it 2 days before I got on my flight. Wow. And it was.
Where was that first trip?
It was to Macau, which is it's an area in it's south of Hong Kong in China. Yeah. Spent a week in Macau, and then from there we went to Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So it was like a 3-week trip over the course of December 2016, I think, or something.
You want to talk about your life changing in a blink of an eye, and that's it right there.
Yeah, yeah.
So when Sam had hit you up and said, I want to take you on, I want you to help out with this project, you just flew out to New York thinking, no idea where this is going, but I'm just gonna go out because this is a good opportunity. Yeah. And he had discovered you how?
So he actually came out to Hawaii about a year prior, I think. So we've been kind of mutually connected, or we over Instagram. You know, the power of Instagram. It's just social media brought us together. So he came out to Hawaii. I met him that way. We hung out. And then from there, we kind of just always like kept in touch. And he saw, I guess, what I was doing at some point and hit me up. He's like, hey, dude, like, I need some help here.
Wow.
And I remember, I think I saw him first when he got first hired by Beautiful Destinations too, and just like how he went, you know, zero to the world, same thing.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like maybe a few months before he actually hit me up for it, but I was like sitting at my table. I was like, yeah, it'd be sick to like go travel with Sam for this company. Like in total, just didn't pay any like energy to it at all. But I remember thinking about it. I was like, yeah, that'd be sick if I did this. And then I just kind of put it off to the side. And then all of a sudden, like, holy shit, I'm actually fucking
fell
doing
into
it.
your lap.
Yeah.
It fell into your lap.
So it's kind of crazy in that way. But
Man.
yeah.
I can't even imagine, man. That just fires me up because I've seen his work and I wasn't really familiar with him until Jeremiah's podcast. And after the fact, I listened back to the podcast, went in and looked up his content. And I was like, wow, this is a massive scale that he's doing it too.
Yeah.
Now, working with Beautiful Destinations, what do you think that's brought to you? Obviously, they are such a massive company, and I'm still not totally sure on exactly what they do. They provide like a service to businesses and to companies that want to get their product out there, and essentially they pay them to create these amazing.
That's the gist of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're technically considered a creative agency.
Okay.
So yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like they create content for the brands, luxury brands, tourism boards,
line.
like top of the
line.
top.
They ain't making
the world.
purpose in the year content yet, but we're gonna get there one day. But this is top of the line Ray-Ban or something like that wants their product seen in a different way.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And what have you enjoyed the most? Obviously, they provided what seems like the biggest opportunity, the gateway opportunity. But since working with them, and I'm guessing you're still with them today.
Yeah.
What have you enjoyed about this whole process with them?
Well, I think they did provide that gateway for sure. So they've opened up the door for just tons of opportunities. Everything that I've been able to do is thanks to them. And I think like even moving forward, they're gonna have like a big role in everything that I've done so far.
Yeah.
Honestly, just they taught me a lot more on the business side of things too. Because I came from a background of just like, I just want to make cool videos.
Yeah, you just want to create content.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's something that I love to do. So they definitely introduced to me like the more business side of things and how to actually make a living out of this. And I wasn't anywhere near.
You just wanted to make the content.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you want me to work for you? I'm in. Like,
pretty much.
Buy me a plane ticket, cover my costs, and I'll be there.
So it's not the case anymore. Yeah, thankfully.
Of course,
but
you got to eventually at some point, flip the switch and say, all right, I need to pay my bills and make a living and buy equipment for myself.
Yeah. So they and honestly, the people are amazing too. Like Tom and Jeremy Johnsey, they're the two co-founders. Yeah. But they're like older brothers, man. They're like literally family to me, and it's. I'm more taking away like the relationships from it, I guess. Yeah, that's like the best part of it.
I would imagine it's a very tight knit type of company.
It's a small company, 30 employees. Yeah, but
doing some incredible things. Don't let the numbers think that. Yeah. That's what the world. Me coming from like the business background because I went to a business school. Like I love seeing companies that can really do some impactful things, but keep it so lean. Yeah. You know, because that's really the world we're getting into, is that what that company might have been 10 years ago or 15 years ago would have been 100 employees. Yeah. Now you're talking 30 employees, and it's like, man, damn, this is pretty amazing. Follow Your Stoke. Yeah. Talk to me about what this means to you.
Yeah. Follow Your Stoke is my mantra, I guess. It's the way I kind of, I don't know, I've always tried to see things in my life, and especially like what I wanted to represent with my content and everything. Because the early days of what we were doing was very much, to me, it was like pushing my comfort zone, like cliff diving, doing all that kind of crazy hikes, like really
just capturing those moments.
Yeah. That was all very much, I saw it as me pushing comfort zones, and so like it's what got me excited to be alive. Yeah. So that's really what Follow Your Stoke is. It's not necessarily like follow your passion, which it still is, but it's what gets you excited, like what gets you stoked on life, what gets you stoked to be alive. That's the feeling you should be chasing. and that's the feeling you should be actually like surrounding yourself with every day, and or as much as you can, you know. And so that's really turned into, I guess, some kind of brand for me.
Yeah.
It honestly just started as just the YouTube videos, and I was like, this is what I want to make my baby, like my YouTube videos. But yeah, it's become more of a, I guess, like a way of life for me, and something I try to like project and give.
It became you.
Yeah.
Without you meaning for it, or without like starting and saying this is gonna become my brand. It just became like, your brand.
I remember sitting like I was trying to find a title for one of my first YouTube videos, and I was like, I sat for maybe like 2 hours just what sounds good to me, like what feels right, and I was like, I like the word stoked a lot because that's a very common word in Hawaii, like, or even out here in California.
Yeah. East Coast, it kind of trickles. I
not too much,
not too much, but definitely a West Coast, and I'm sure
West Coast, Hawaii, it's a very big word. And then just, I don't know, Follow Your Stoke just kind of sounded right. And I was just like, you know what, whatever, man, I'll put this on YouTube. And then it just kind of pulled through. Yeah. So the last Follow Your Stoke I put out was actually like a compilation of the entire year traveling with BD, and it was just whatever 15 different countries I was in from the 8 months that I was with them or something. But yeah.
Do you think it's difficult for people to follow what their stoked is, like what they're?
I think it's a lot of identifying. It's having to like sit down with yourself and ask or trying to find what that feeling is, I guess, because it's not the same for everyone. And obviously, like for me, it was video, it was film and being able to create. But the stoke it's more of like what it is that gets you excited. And I guess that's the best way I can kind of understand that.
Yeah.
And it's a universal thing. It's not just whatever, it is that you love to do or what is just your passion.
Yeah.
It's what gets you freaking fired.
Yeah.
Like, what is it that, actually gets you out of bed in the morning, and why do you actually even care about it?
Yeah.
So, I think to find that is definitely a tricky thing. It takes a lot of self-evaluation, and honestly, I think like people like us, we're still really young, and to be able to find what it is that we love to do, like, it's a special thing.
Yeah. I always say to people, the best thing that I can offer is that I'm going to try to be an example of somebody that is trying to do that thing. Like, I don't have it all figured out.
Oh,
like,
100%. Yeah.
And I'm sure you don't either. But at the same time, I'm trying to show people that I think I know what I want to do, and I'm going to document the journey raw.
Yeah.
As in, I'm not going to act like I'm over here making a living doing this.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you guys that I'm out here Ubering around in LA.
Dude, yes.
In the Friday and Saturday nights to show you the rawness, because I'm following what my stoke is.
Yeah.
And if that's what you want to do, you can do it. But you have to literally, like, the reason there's only so many people that get to do these crazy lifestyles of living the dream, because it's like, I always look at it as like it's like a marathon, and everybody starts off as making videos, and then one person falls out because they don't have the time, because they just want to work their job and do other things, and then the other guy falls out because he gets into a relationship, or the other girl falls out because she gets into a relationship. It's like, it's just a marathon. And if you can keep running forward, eventually you're gonna hit that finish line.
It's a funny thing. It's like, it's also not, a lot of people view it as competition too in some ways, so it's like what you said with the marathon. It's not about winning. It's not a game that you just play to win. It's a game that you play to keep playing, so that you're not there's never an end goal for this. Like, it's like your goal should be to just outlast everyone else.
Outwork yourself.
Yeah. So you're constantly improving yourself every single day, every single video, every single podcast that you do. You're never gonna run out.
Yeah.
And you're never gonna lose steam because you love what you're doing. It's an infinite game, man.
It's easy to compare yourself to other people.
Oh, yeah.
And I even caught myself, not gonna lie, I did it today earlier. Somebody that's not even doing podcasting, but I saw what they were doing, and I was like, yo, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, dude.
Am I doing something wrong here?
No.
For 5 seconds, I had that conversation.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're Bobbbaaaay, you're the bearded man. Like, just stop. Like, nobody else is you. You just got to focus on who you are and what's in front of you today, and
stay in your lane.
Yeah. And focus on this moment of, like, what am I doing today that's going to set me up for a better tomorrow.
That's I think social media has such a good aspect to it, but that's also like the crippling side of it.
Absolutely.
It gives you so much comparison, because even in my industry, it's like if I'm not putting stuff out that I feel like is better than this person's or whatever, I'm not gonna lie, it gets to me. Yeah. Like, oh, this guy's got more than I do. It's a natural thing, but it's like, it's the same thing of, run your race, trust the process, follow your stoke. Yeah. That's like what I try to go by. And it's hard. It's hard, man. It's a battle, but I've kind of like, the other part that I've learned and tried to implement recently is like trying to love those moments. It still makes you human. You know, it's not like you're trying to get rid of all the bad stuff about you. Focus on the goods. Yeah. And love the bad stuff too. Because, I mean, you have to live with yourself at the end of the day anyway. Yeah. So why are you going to beat yourself up about not being as good as this person? And I
try to smile at the setbacks nowadays.
Yeah, man.
Straight up 3 days ago, I kid you not, I'm in my bathroom. I put up my phone on the sink for a second. And as I drop it onto the sink, it falls and it shatters. No. And I look down, and I kid you not, somebody 4 years ago, I would have flipped out. I would have like been dropping F-bombs and just like punching myself. Yeah. I literally looked down and I smiled and I said, "There's nothing I can do."
Yeah, it happens. Like, it happened.
And what am I gonna do? Like sit here and be pissed off about it? Like there's nothing I can possibly do. All right, we're gonna have to go get it fixed.
I can't tell you. I mean, like, traveling, that's such a, nothing goes right most of the time. Yeah. Like, it's like if we go on a trip and we don't really have much plan, or like there's no itinerary out. Yeah. Most of the time stuff doesn't go right
at all.
Bad weather, or you don't get the shots you want, whatever it is. But it's like, you just kind of gotta laugh at it. It's like, this is a good story to tell, or like, this is a good experience, man. Like,
it's always about the story. That's the way I look at it.
Twist it.
It's always about the story. Yeah. You said you had traveled to, what was it, 10 countries?
I think, honestly, I don't really know what my number's at. I know it's probably 18 to 20-ish now. Just in the last, like, year and a half. Okay. A little over, yeah.
Now, coming from the kid that grew up on the island of 7,000 people, what do you think that traveling to this many different parts of the world has really showed you?
I think, most importantly, it's shown, I guess, like, the beauty and the differences, because everything I've seen so far is completely different from what I'm used to and like my way of life before. Yeah. And being able to just capture those differences, that's what really gets me like excited about it. And that's what I think is like the most beautiful thing about it. I get to experience the way the other side lives and see the different parts of the world that, think differently. They have different lifestyle, different views, different environments. And that's, I think, what my passion has turned into now, is kind of sharing those, I guess, differences, those beauties, and showing it in a different way.
Through your lens.
Yeah, through my lens. And I guess I want to provide to people that same feeling that travel provides for me, to make me see things differently. I want to get people to see what I see a little differently, and hopefully just show it in unique ways. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say that's the most. Yeah.
Has there been a certain location or a certain moment that like stands out the most to you so far?
Well, differences wise, where it was just like, what am I doing here kind of thing?
It could go either way. I mean, differences or just like, I mean, a perfect example, and don't use this as the example, would be like the Rory Kramer, like you guys sitting on the sunrise, and that was a certain moment. Obviously, that one is different because I was in Hawaii. So So I guess I would say it would be away from Hawaii, but what was another one of those moments where you're like, damn, like this is literally my life right now.
Yeah. For me, I think when I was in Finland last year. So like literally on the edge.
Couldn't even, you could show me a map of the world right now. Give me 10 tries. Not even a chance. I'm getting within like inches of it.
So Finland's part of it is on the edge of the Arctic Circle. Okay. Up, like by the North Pole. Okay. And so, that moment, I remember this vividly, but got to see the Northern Lights for the first time. And it was like, man, it was...
That's priceless.
I think, I shed a couple tears.
Yeah. You put in one of the... I watched so much of your content, I don't even know which video it was, but it was like a dark shot with obviously the Northern Lights of the green. Yeah. So it was in one of your videos.
Yeah. So, that was special, man. The entire night was just, it was dancing. It was, that moment kind of just got me like, what is my life right now?
When you're traveling to like a destination like that, Finland, is it very small, like 4 of you, 5 of you?
Yeah.
Or does it kind of just depend on?
So that trip was that was a special one. It was 4 of us. It was me, Jacob, at Jacob, and then Tom and Jeremy. We kind of just went, just another BD trip kind of thing.
Wow.
But most of the trips, they're very small groups where it's like 2 people, 3 people.
You can't be traveling with a whole bus full of people.
Yeah.
Especially some of the environments that you guys get into, I feel like are off the beaten trail. That nobody that is touristing through there is going through the local spots, and you guys are out there finding locals on the back of pickup trucks and like, yo, drive us through this woods. We have no idea where we're going.
It always helps to have at least one other person. 2 people is good. Yeah. So like a good trio like to travel with is always a good number. I've never done a solo travel yet. I think that it doesn't really appeal to me.
I think it comes down to who you are.
Yeah,
like if you're somebody that just like wants to be on your own and go on your own adventure, why not?
Not be held back by anyone else.
I am so much a people's person.
Yeah,
I'm like, wait, you want to pay me to go there by myself? Like, I'll do it, but I would rather bring 3 people with me and enjoy that moment 100%. And experience with people. Yeah, and live it.
That's always, sharing those experiences, traveling, like. Some of my best friends now I've gotten to travel with, and I've actually went to Philippines with Jeremiah like a month ago.
Yeah, I saw a lot of. I don't think I knew exactly who you were at that time, but I saw a lot of the content, and then when I was looking through your stuff, I was like, there's the dot connect. This is how I know. Oh, man, it's crazy how that works.
Yeah, man.
And he's he's 24 too.
Yeah, the same. You got a lot of 24-year-olds on this.
A lot of youth, baby. We gotta keep. We're trying to keep it. We're trying to keep it young, but a lot of. Yeah, man. A lot of people that are. I got to sit down and actually add up the ages and like figure out what the average. But I would say it's probably like 23, 24 of like what the guests.
That's
have
so
been.
Interesting.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it all comes back to, like we were talking about, was like the internet and just like the opportunities are there. You have to create it.
Yeah.
And what's also interesting is that. And I'm not here to promote not going to college, and I'm not here to promote dropping out of college because I was somebody that went to college and got a degree. Yeah, sorry, those things stick. I gotta get some sticky stuff to keep it down. Pause. But so many of the people that I've had dropped out. Yeah. And I'm over here like, I went to the 4-year degree and I got the university, and like I said, I'm not here to promote, but very young and a lot of people that kind of dropped out because they had that thing that they wanted to do.
It's not, and I don't think it was necessarily like dropping out just for the sake of dropping out to go do this other, stuff that they were called to do. But it's, if college is for you and that's like your lane, like run that. Like that's what you should be doing. You need to go to college, be the doctor. We need people like that.
Exactly.
I think what's the stigma is, and the bad thing about like social media nowadays is like drop out of college, quit my job, and go live the life of my dreams kind of thing. And that's kind of what the bad, I guess, stigma is about what we're doing. And I'm just not about that at all.
I don't think I've ever said this for the record, but I'm not a big fan of this whole thing that people post on like living my best life.
Yeah,
I really, 100%. It is so sarcastic.
Yeah.
And they're just like capturing one moment of the week that great, you are having a great time. And I'm happy. I want people to be happy. I want people to be happy.
Yeah.
But the people that are posting that stuff, what are you doing the rest of the week? Like, this is one moment, It's almost like they're trying to self-fulfill something to themselves. Yeah. Like trying to, you're trying to package yourself. I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing and offend somebody the wrong way, but I'm not a fan of this, like living my best life. Very sarcastic.
What are you doing with your life?
I'm just like, let's, I'm not even going to go there. How do you want, I think you've touched on it a little bit, but to really to bring it together, how do you want people to be impacted by the stuff that you're putting out? I know you said, you kind of want to take people through the travels and have them experience what you're experiencing to these places you go to, but what's like the overall goal of the content that you create?
I think, it is to kind of provide that same feeling that I get. Yeah. If for whatever reason, it's like travel is a privilege, man. Like 100%. To be able to travel it's not a right that we're given. It's like, it's a privilege. And I feel very just, grateful that I get to do it. And I understand that not everyone can. Yeah. So not to say like I'm bringing traveling to the people that can't, but I know for a fact that if there's a kid in some small town USA or, some kid from Hawaii that wanted to get out and see the world, like hopefully they can see this and like, yo, it's possible. Like there's nothing really stopping you until that you make that decision. And being able to just share the way that traveling makes me feel, I guess I've always kind of seen what I create as expression, like me getting to express how I experience these cultures, experience these places, and being able to impact, I guess, or, you know, affect someone watching it in some way. That's just kind of a bonus for me, honestly. But if I think a video that I make is like dope, that's you. That's just me.
That's you. Like, that's what you're going to put out.
Yeah. Being able to hear everyone's stories and, or just like ways that whatever I've done kind of like helped them through something, or, you know, gave them direction. Like it's a very humbling thing. Yeah. And that also pushes what I want forward.
Watching, I mean, like I said, I definitely watched a really good amount of your content in the last 24 hours just to get like an energy for this podcast and just to really kind of like see what you've been up to. And my father, perfect example. Right when you came in, he literally told you like the work, your video, and he's not video inclined, and he's like, I'm not creating those videos anytime. That's a joke, but like, in all honesty, watching some of this stuff, it like gives you the chills, you know? Like I've never been to any of these places that you're documenting, but with everything that's incorporated with the music, the shots, the transitions, the people, it gives you chills, man. it really is an experience. I don't even care if it's 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 8 minutes. Yeah, it's a trip. Yeah. And you like walk away lifted of like, damn, this is, I don't even want to make videos, but that shit makes me want to keep going, you know? Yeah. Like that makes me want to continue on my journey of like impacting and putting out stuff that's going to affect people in some way, shape, or form. Because I know damn well there are people that come across that content and are going to shed a tear. Yeah. And I think that is super dope. Super dope.
I appreciate that so
Absolutely,
much, man.
That's the goal, I guess, right?
Goal,
like
100%.
To genuinely impact people, whether it's happy, whether it's making them cry of joy, whether it's like refreshing them of like this whole idea of life and what's like their intentions, what's their stoke. Yeah. That's the goal of a content creator, I guess.
That's the never-ending game. Yeah. Like that continues no matter what. So like that's the base of everything, man. Yeah. I appreciate that. Like to hear that, man. Seriously.
It's truthful. It's absolutely truthful.
Respect. Thank you.
What is there like a certain, and I don't want to say a goal, but like, is there something that's really waking you up every day that you're like, that's where I want to be? Yeah. Yeah. Is there like a certain thing that you've narrowed it down to, or is it just this continuous of like creating content and just see where we end up?
It's these little wins, you know, the little wins that kind of like stepping stones pretty much. So for me, what keeps me waking up is just like there's new places for me to explore. There's
a lot of new places.
Yeah,
there's a lot of new places.
I mean, a lot of places have already been discovered, whatever. But like not to me. Yeah. So I want to go experience that. Career-wise, I want to be able to, I think eventually like get to the point of either directing or creating some kind of long form piece of content where there's like I'm really into documentaries, and I think for what I'm doing now, that's like kind of right in the right direction that I want to go. 100%. So whatever that takes me, I think in the next, I don't know, hopefully the next couple of years, I'll be able to do some kind of hour-long,
bigger projects,
big length like movie or something like that. But in a very like grassroots, homemade, like documentary style kind of way. I don't want to be in like Hollywood or cinema or anything like that.
I got you. You don't need to anymore.
Yeah,
you don't need to go into the Hollywood world.
I've always
you can stay away from that.
Yeah, seen myself as like not a one-man type of show, but definitely like a grassroots, just like a art house kind of thing. I don't know how to describe it. If that makes sense.
No, it does. I can visually see, because obviously I pay attention to a lot of like the video people. I've had a lot on the podcast, but I think I understand where you're trying to go, and I think that'd be super dope. And this is essentially all just training. Yeah, this is all just like stepping stones, like you said, of getting to that bigger project. Because you can't just wake up tomorrow and make a hour-long produced content that's a documentary style. You have to produce all these mini ones to finally get to the big one. Exactly. It's like anything else. Like it's just part of that journey that you're gonna go through. Yeah. You know, somebody's flipping through a magazine. they see your name or they see a vlog or they come across this podcast episode, what do you want them to feel when they see your name across a piece of paper or across a video or they're clicking in anywhere?
Yeah. I want them to know, I want them to feel, I guess, excited. I guess stoked when I really want to represent, I guess, just possibilities. So if they see my name on something, they'll know that it wasn't something that was handed to me in some way, or, you know, this idea that, and not to throw shade or anything, but just like have stuff given to me, like I worked for it. Yeah. You know, like if someone saw my name and that's essentially what I want to be known for, is that I actually represented something good. Yeah. I guess that's the easiest way I can put it. Yeah.
Kind of that same feeling that you have when you come across, I'm sure, anything that Roy puts out.
Yeah, exactly.
That like excitement of like, oh, I got to stop everything I'm doing. Yeah. He just put out a new video. I want to see this. Or he put out an interview. Or
like, I want people to know that whatever I put out is going to be good. And so that if I'm actually putting my name on it, then it's going to be the best I can do. Yeah. You know, it's going to be like better than my last. Because that's the goal.
Because you've built that respect. Yeah. People like want to see... When they see that name, they know what to expect. That they're going to click into something that's actually valuable, and it's not something that's just a complete waste of their time.
For sure.
In one of your videos, I'm not sure which one it was, you had this quote that I'm about to read, and it's been something that I've heard sampled a lot of times, and I really like it, and it's definitely it's for the right reasons. But the quote is, "If you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living and continue to do the things you don't like doing." Yeah. Which is stupid. Yeah. Which is Alan Watts.
Alan Watts.
And we've talked about it a lot today, but why is this important? Why is this quote important to you?
It's the same idea of it's a numbers game. You'll never really be, how do I describe it? You'll never have, numbers don't really bring happiness. So if you're running, damn, I'm getting like caught up right now.
Oh, I got you.
But I know what I have in my head.
Mm-hmm. I know it's not always easy to spit out, man.
I'm still working on this.
Yeah,
this is another
don't worry. You're fucking killing this podcast now, so don't worry, man. Yeah. You're good.
So it's that idea that numbers don't bring happiness. And every time you reach a new number, you're never going to be satisfied by it. If that's the reason why you're doing something, then there's no, I guess you'll never be happy with it. No. If you like set out to make, I'll make 10K this month. You'll hit your 10K and then be like, maybe I'll hit 50K this month, and then it just keeps going, and the numbers keep growing and growing and growing, and that's sick. Like it's
great.
If that's your thing, then that's great. But does that really fulfill what's inside? What's the reasoning behind that? And so I think like it's more important to figure out the base and the why of what you're doing than, that's just a result. Money's just a result of you living out your passion. Yeah. So I measure success in happiness. Yeah. And if
you're always going to want more.
Exactly.
You're always going to want more. Yeah. And like, man, I think the best example that I can like compare it to is like, think about the last time you wanted, maybe as a kid. I think the best time to look back as a kid is like, you wanted that pair of sneakers. Yeah. You really wanted those shoes, and you would do anything to get those shoes. You would kill, you would do whatever, and you got those shoes, and a week later, it's like, sick. I want the next pair. Yeah. So if that happens at such a small scale, what do you think is going to happen when you get to a large scale? Mm-hmm. You cut that check for 10 grand. Yeah. If you're cutting that check for 10 grand for doing something that you, for working at the hospital, if you cut a check for 10 grand, you're like, sick. Yeah. But
what's next?
All right. I'm just going to have to go back next Tuesday. But if you're cutting a check for 10 grand for videos that you're making, you're going to be so fired up. Yeah. Because this is already doing something that you want to do.
100%, man.
But it's not, I don't know. It's a game. Yeah. It's not always easy for people to, I think we're fortunate we understand this, but the reason I ask certain questions like this is because, we understand this, but I hope that somebody that listens, maybe they never thought of it like that. And maybe that's going to be like, damn, that's going to be the moment where maybe this actually is truthful. Maybe chasing this money isn't going to actually pay off.
Yeah. And it's funny. It kind of stems back to like scientific stuff that goes on in your head. Every time you like get like a cut or like a check cut to you, it's like it releases dopamine. You know, so it's almost like it's literally an addiction.
Yeah.
So it's not about chasing those dopamine highs or whatever. There's it's I forget what that other chemical is called, but it's
bad with that shit.
It's the one that's based around like love and relationships and like actually having meaningful stuff in your life. Oxytocin, I think. Is what it's called.
I think you're right.
I don't want to get too like.
Nah, you're good.
Nobody's gonna call you out.
Nobody's gonna call you out about it. Nobody's gonna call you out.
But it's that idea of like, instead of it being an addiction or like a drug, you know, it's about the real stuff, not this fake dopamine highs. And
I got you.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received, and who was it from?
Damn. I think I listen to a lot of audiobooks.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't feel like I've had much, I guess, like role models in my life.
Okay.
Or just people that I have a lot of loved ones, like great friends, people that have like impacted me. But I feel like I've learned the most through reading, through like audiobooks. And I think I listen to a guy called Jim Rohn a lot. Yeah. He's this old self-help guy. Yeah. So he's got a lot of really good seminars. Yeah. Good stuff out on YouTube. One of the quotes he had was, "It's better to live 30 years full of adventure than 70 years stuck in a corner." That's not exact words, but it's that same idea of, is your life really full? Is it really filled with what you want to be doing? And is it filled with love, or is it just living just to live? Or I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like just, yeah.
You want to laugh?
Living instead of existing.
You want to laugh? I literally was going to ask you, because you had that.
I have that on my,
literally had that
goes
out, and I deleted it, and I was like, I'm going to ask him about the Alan Watts quotes. So
I would have said both.
Remember I told you everybody walks into this?
It always just walks. You're doing a good job, bro. Good stuff.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's super important, though.
There's
that
a lot.
Super important.
Yeah. There's a lot of good quotes that I could say. They'll come to me when they do, but yeah, I think that one's like a very important one to me, and something I've kind of kept
with you,
kept close. Yeah.
Is there anything that you do daily that is a must? Workout, mental health, eat right. What's your day-to-day definites? Yeah,
I do. I meditate. Okay. I try to most of the time.
App or just straight by yourself? Okay.
Yeah, like try to find like a nice quiet place and just sit down and be alone with my thoughts. Get my thoughts done. Yeah. And like just try to be there. Helps me. Like I feel like that really plays a lot of role in allowing like creativity to just like come through me instead of like trying to force it. Exactly. So I meditate a lot. I try to I work out pretty consistent, or like when I can. When you can. When I'm traveling.
You're not on a flight for 24 hours.
Yeah. So that's a big fitness is a big deal for me too. Eating right. I'm not vegan, but I haven't had meat in maybe half a year now. A little
half
over.
A year.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not long, but
that's long
for me. Growing up in Hawaii is like fish, pig, chicken, everything is like
that's what you're eating.
Yeah. So to make that transition was, I don't know, I felt better. So I feel like that definitely
your system's cleaner almost.
Yeah, 100%. I read decently amount too. I write a lot. That's what I like doing too.
Like in a journal,
like
on
just
your
in
phone?
a journal. Yeah. I try to wake up every morning, and try to write just half a page of something that I can feel comes from like an inspiring part of me. It doesn't even need to be based on anything, but it's just like it gets my
taking a pen and actually writing
and just writing down. And it's so therapeutic, man. Like being able to put your thoughts out physically onto something, even if I don't ever read that thing again, it just feels
it's that
good.
Process of actually doing it.
It feels amazing, and I think it like kind of kickstarts a lot of concepts for me too.
Man. It makes total sense because when you have sampled audio clips in the actual content that you put out, you got to go somewhere to find like certain gems. You can't just kind of sit there and it just pops in your head. You go back to what you've written, and I'm sure there's something that you pick out. You're like, this actually stands out. This is the vibe I'm trying to like create.
So a lot of what stuff that I've made now was written down maybe like a couple years ago or a year ago.
Wow, that's super dope.
It's cool to look back on. Yeah.
It's a documentation of what you were feeling, what your thought process was.
Honestly, like picture going, I mean, like somewhere down the road when Bobbbaaaay is nice and big and famous, and then you look back and like you have your old journals, and it's like this was the starting point. Yeah, it's
priceless.
Like you can't fake that.
I started putting out, not too much about me because this podcast ain't about me, but I started putting out a weekly vlog series where I talk about what happened in the last 7 days of my life, and to me it's great because it's not about the views right now. It's about having a visual documentation of me talking about what happened last week, why it was so great, what I did, being at episode, I was, at the time when I started, I was maybe episode like 68, talking about how episode 68 went, and then 69, and having a visual piece of content, with the date on YouTube of when this was published, and being able to go back and be like, that's where I was. Dude,
yeah,
I'm very big on visuals, and I've done the journals a little bit here and there, but I just so much like a visual piece of content, and wanting to impact a large scale. I think this has been cool, and you see like 40 or 50 views on a video, and you're like, this is whatever, and you'll get that one comment where somebody's like, yo, this is amazing. Like you need like somebody I have no idea who they are saying, dude, like I can't wait till next week, and that's all I need. That's
man,
all I need.
That's
one
how it
person,
starts. Yeah,
that's all I need. That's all I need, and I'm gonna keep producing it.
Yeah, and more importantly, it's yourself too.
100%. I'm doing it for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if it helps somebody, that's great. That's the beauty of the internet. You could put stuff out, and it's gonna help a larger scale. But at the end of the day, I'm doing it for me because I want to have documentation. I'm like, that's right. I did this. You guys go back and look at the Bearded Man's journey. Literally called The Journey. It's all there. So
beautiful, dude.
I think it's great when people can actually document their story. What would you say is Nainoa Langer's purpose?
Purpose?
What do you think your purpose is?
That's I think that's something I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I kind of like that idea that I'm trying to figure it out, Yeah. It's
I don't think you're ever supposed to have it fully figured out.
That's what
Like if you're like, this is what my purpose is and I'm going and this is how I would disagree because I'd say in a couple of years you're gonna think differently.
It can completely change. That's the thing. It's like people we as humans, we can change and we develop over time, we evolve. So for me to say my purpose is one thing when, a year ago it might have been completely different, or maybe a year from now it's gonna be completely different. I've always just kind of like, I just want to live a good life, man. Yeah. And I want to impact people. I want to work with cool people, and I want to leave a good footprint on this world. Yeah. I think that's the closest answer I could give. The vibe is what I like. I mean, it's always like the feeling of what is you're doing is right. Yeah. And if it makes you happy, like that's all you can do. Yeah. And I kind of like the idea of not having a solid defined purpose because it leaves more freedom and leaves more flexibility, and it can
there ain't nothing wrong with that. Man. You're not supposed to have this all figured out.
Exactly. I think
it's important that you have like a feel for you have a feel for what you're supposed to be doing. And I think if I ask that question to a lot of people randomly on the street, it would be tough. That's actually like a really good video concept that I might do, is just take a camera and just go walk up to a stranger and say, what's your purpose? Because that's a question that's loaded.
Oh, yeah, totally.
The fact that you at least have some type of direction, that's already like a positive. Yeah. That so many people, I think, if I asked them that question, man. Yeah. It would catch them off guard.
For sure.
So.
I think, I said another quote that I like is kind of slipping my mind, but it's like, I never had like a plan for anything I was going to do, but I always had like, a direction, like exactly like what you just said. Yeah. So I've never had anything mapped out, never had any kind of, just things set before me, but I knew what felt right and I knew what didn't feel right. And that's also what I call like following my stoke. So
I love
that's
it.
just where it goes.
See? Follow your stoke,
bro. Yeah.
I absolutely love it. This is when I reverse the role. I allow my guests to ask me any one question.
Ooh,
it could be about something we talked about today. The only two things, I hope this doesn't interrupt your question. One, it can't be directly about the podcast. Okay. And two, it can't be a question I asked you today.
Okay.
If you got a question.
I'm not sure if you asked me this today, but you might have.
Go ahead.
I wanted to see, where does Bobbbaaaay see himself going? Okay. It wasn't. No. I don't want to give a time to it. That's why, but I want to pick I want to see what's inside you and where is your direction. Okay. What is it that you see yourself doing?
That's a fair question.
Yeah.
I think I recently kind of really finally narrowed it in. And I see, once again, this is up for change. I'm never going to say like this is the defining path, but I think the intentions of me launching this podcast was to figure out what my passion was, right? Along the way, it's just been super dope to connect with people that are doing dope stuff. So that to me was already a plus. Like, get to sit down and talk. I'm already a talker. Like, all right, let me sit down and talk to people doing dope shit, and I'll put out content. Awesome. But the intentions of why I started the podcast was me trying to find that thing. And it took me literally up until like the 70s, right? Like early 70s, mid 70s episode to really kind of figure it out. But I think my goal moving forward is to become, I guess the best way to say it is like an entertainer, right? I don't want to ever box myself in as just the podcaster. I want to do podcasting. I want to do film. I want to do TV. Put me on the cover of GQ magazine. Put me, maybe I'll have a mini documentary, you know, I want to be ultimately a content creator that is putting out stuff that damn well brings tears to people's eyes, whether it's happy, whether it's joy, that when they see my name, Bobbbaaaay, the world's favorite bearded man on YouTube, when they click in, they're excited. That when they see that it's 35 minutes long, they're asking themselves, why isn't this 40 minutes long? You know, like not like a dreadful of like, damn, this is 35. I don't want to sit and watch it. I just want to be able to create really awesome content and be an entertainer, like a Jimmy Fallon type of guy with like a night show maybe one day, but to never lose sight of inspiring people. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but like, I'm not going down a path of being a self-help type of guy. I want to go down this journey of mine of giving myself permission to be an entertainer, I guess you could call it, but like inspiring others and documenting that journey of like, I graduated from a college of business school and now I'm doing all this stuff. Like I started with zero, zero background of creating content, zero connections, zero direction, zero idea of how to network. This started at zero and this is where I'm at. And then this is where I want to be in, you know? So, just recently, I think I figured it out and it's like, just be an ultimate content creator and jump in vlogs. And, you know, it's just like, I want to get to a point where I'm putting out content every single day. Like just vlogs, podcasts, everything.
Beautiful, man.
I want to do it all, man.
Beautiful.
I want to do it all.
I
want to do it
awesome.
all. There's just no limit, you know?
For sure.
And I needed the podcast to get me to that point because if I didn't do this, I never would have given myself that permission to think, why not? Why can't you be the next Jimmy Fallon? Why can't you be the next late night guy? Why can't you be the next Tom Cruise? Like there is no limits.
Beautiful.
There's no limits at all. And shout out to Jeremiah because that was the name
Without Limits.
Without Limits.
Yeah, it's beautiful, dude.
Yeah,
love it.
That's just how it is. So that's a good question. Closing questions. I want you to imagine there's a picture frame on the wall. 10 years from now.
Okay.
You're in that picture frame. What and who else do we see within that picture frame?
You just see me, bro. You just see me, unapologetically me. 10 years is a lot to look forward to.
34.
Yeah.
A lot's going to be done before then.
Yeah.
Where would you, if you had to take a guess, what's in the background of that picture, though?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I love the idea of a family, for sure. 34 seems like a pretty good age for that. By then, I'll hopefully have, a ton of, like, dope stuff under my belt, whether it's, like, documentaries, movies, or I've got a production company or something.
Yeah.
I don't like... This is just me, like, putting it out. I'm not entirely sure because I'm always fluid with it, and like
that's how
I love it
man.
To change. But yeah, I think I'll just see a happy guy, hopefully, and I'll see a guy that's not regretting anything, or isn't filled with, the what ifs or the could haves. And I think I'm pretty confident that right now the person I am right now is not gonna let that happen.
Yeah.
So
he's going down the right path.
Yeah.
It's just that consistency of keep doing it, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And he's gonna find it.
Hopefully in 10 years, I might be able to grow a beard like yours. It's the Asian in me. I don't have facial hair.
Talk to me after the podcast. I'll give you a couple tips. I'll write down a couple how-tos. Maybe that'll be my next ebook. How to get
the voluptuous beard.
Oh man, that's a podcast in itself, man. That is a podcast in itself. But hey, you never know, man.
Yeah.
It could pop in.
Who knows?
I'll show you the tricks. Just don't tell anybody.
Good.
Don't tell anybody at home. Where can people follow you on social media? Where can they find your content if they've never come across it?
Yeah.
Plug everything up where people can find you.
Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I don't know if people are still on Facebook, but everything's at Nainoa Langer, Nainoa Langer.
Nainoa Langer everywhere.
Nainoa Langer everything.
Just make it nice and easy for people to find.
Nice and easy. Pretty simple.
I'll have that tagged up on YouTube. If you're listening on the Instagram, like you'll be able to find social media in any of the bios of wherever you're hearing this, visually, audio. You'll find it.
Yeah.
I make it very accessible to people. You don't have to really look, or you just play back 20 seconds ago and you hear my man plug in all of his contact info. Before I ask the final question, thank you for coming in for the podcast today.
Thank you for
having me. The fact that you literally got off the plane now 6 hours ago ish and truck all the way up here from LAX and going back to Hawaii tomorrow. I was even telling my parents this before you got here, like that shit like means so much to me because man, I don't even know how to really explain it. It's like I started this, as I said, like as just an idea, and the fact that I can hopefully bring something value to somebody and they see that and are willing to take time out of their day to actually do that. Yeah. That to me is like, dude, that's all I need, man.
That's all love, bro.
You know what I mean? So, thank you for taking the time to do this and for being somebody that is a genuine example of like, it's possible. Yeah. And we heard it today, on the story today, like it's all there. So
appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Last question for you. What 2 to 3 pieces of advice would you give to somebody that is trying to find a passion, trying to find a purpose, hasn't necessarily found it just yet? Yeah. What would you say they do?
It's okay not to know what you're doing. It's okay to not be okay. It's all a process. You just got to trust what you're doing right now and trust that what you're feeling and what you're going through is meant to be in your life. And that's what's building your story. It's what's building your experience. That's advice I'd have for someone that is kind of lost or doesn't know what they're doing. It's okay. Like you just got to get through it. Like you'll get through that. No doubt. For someone that's kind of already found it, but kind of getting discouraged or something, or they're going through difficult times. That's another thing is like, love being miserable. You have to love the ups and the downs because not everything's just going to be highs and these great grand strides in your career or these big wins for you. You're going to have the low points. And when those low points come, you have to love them because you got to recognize they're there to help you grow. All growth needs rest. And you got to give yourself that time to regroup and inspire yourself again. That's kind of what I've been going through lately sometimes. So it's like, those peaks and valleys, just love being miserable.
That's it.
Yeah.
Not lying.
Bro.
Thank you for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. We'll catch you guys next time. See ya.
Peace.